Big extension for a key piece of the Bears defense. We got an emergency mini pod starting right now on CHGO. Welcome into an emergency mini podcast edition of the CHGO Bears Podcast. And it took exactly 0 seconds to get to nonsense.
It's funny. I asked the amazing Beckett Bernfeld if he had a Spider-Man hat for me, and he said no. And of course, brags because he doesn't. He just has it because that's who he is.
That's right. That's right.
Idiot, but amazing.
In honor of Kyler Gordon, I dusted off the old Halloween costume from 2 years ago where Addie had me and Jenny both dressed up as Spider-Man a couple years ago. So
yeah, for those listening to the podcast and cannot see Greg, he has a Spider-Man mask on his face. Unfortunately, he just took it off. I was hoping he'd pass out in 5 minutes wearing that thing. And then
I considered wearing it the whole show, but the show must go on. Let's have some fun.
I think that's a good way to open up the show. Adam Hoge, Mark Carman, Greg Braggs Jr. It's a emergency edition for Kyler Gordon getting a 3-year, $40 million contract, which we're about to break down. But before we get into the details, Greg, why don't you tell everybody what's going on in, less than 2 weeks now.
Yeah. We are getting right around the corner to the NFL draft, of course, and our CHGO Bears draft party, draft day live here at 115 Bourbon Street, April 24th and 25th. That's the Thursday and Friday night for the first 3 rounds. Go to allchgo.com/events for your tickets, presented by Circus Sports. All you can eat buffet, all you can drink. Comes with the ticket package. So make sure you hit that up. And if you're a diehard, you can get 20% off your ticket right there. So great opportunity if you go to allchgo.com/diehard to get that discount.
There's an amazing screenshot that just happened when Steven went back to this. Never mind.
Listen, you can talk.
Carr's face was like this, and the lights were like blinking on him. I loved it. It was great.
I had a great
complete
light.
Opposite of Rory McIlroy on the 18th green today.
Oh man!
I mean, I had a great light, and now I don't have a great light. It's not connecting. It's blinking, and it was like Rory on the first 18th hole. But I was hoping in the break that I could get to the playoff hole, but it didn't work out. So here I am. I'm ready for you, Hogue. I'm ready for you, Greg. It's a good celebration to be with you on a Sunday night.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Let's take on The Last of Us head on right here. Screw those ratings. We're going to dip into them ourselves because we got all these CHGO Bears fans, diehards, watching live on a Sunday night with Bears news in April. That's how this thing works. We love being here. So Kyler Gordon, 3 years, $40 million. I think it was like 31 and change is guaranteed. And this was kind of sort of where I expect this thing to land. There's sort of a pecking order to these extensions in the offseason. We saw Jalen Petrie get extended the other day for the Houston Texans. It was 3 years, 39. Sometimes it's that simple. What did that guy get? I want $1 more million. Okay, cool. And then it's done like that. So a big priority for Ryan Poles in this offseason gets done. And before we get into this, let's actually hear from the general manager, Ryan Poles, because just I guess almost 2 weeks ago now Ryan Poles was at the owners' meetings speaking about how important this extension was to the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, no, that'll still be a priority. For me on our exit meetings at the end of last season, I told a lot of the guys in terms of future, if it was contracts are coming back, anything like that, the important thing is I got to get with our current and new, the new coaching staff and kind of see how the different players fit based on what scheme we're going to be running. So we've been able to have those conversations, and I know Kyler is a guy that we want a part of this moving forward. So the time of that, I'm not sure how that all is going to work out, but that is a priority.
So bottom line, Kyler Gordon gets paid, and it is obvious that the Bears have determined that he is a scheme fit for Dennis Allen's defense. That shouldn't come as any surprise when you have a talent like Kyler Gordon, but I am excited to see Kyler Gordon in this defense, playing a little bit more press, using him otherwise probably very similarly that Matt Eberflus did too, coming off the edge, getting him involved in blitzes, just taking a guy of his talent and putting him in positions to make splash plays, because that's what Kyler Gordon does best if he can stay healthy. This is a contract that, even though he becomes the highest paid slot corner in the league, I still think can carry a tremendous amount of value, because compared to those outside corners, these contracts still seem like a bargain to me.
Well, let's talk about the wins here, right? This is a 25-year-old guy entering his prime. It's Ryan Poles' first draft pick. It worked out. You're extending him. That's a win for Poles. Now, let's look around. Hey, Dennis Allen, do you like this guy? Yes, I do. I want him around. That's a win on the coaching staff hire, right? You're aligning yourself with guys who like your players. I would think that Poles has to feel good about that. And let's not take out Ben Johnson in here, right? He's had to go against this guy. Do you want Kyler Gordon on your defense and have him be an impact guy, have him be a weapon, as he likes to talk about different guys like Jahmyr Gibbs being a weapon? I mean, I look at Kyler like he's a weapon on defense. So I think there's just a lot of wins here for mainly Ryan Poles today. And of course, Kyler getting paid, big time accomplishment for a guy getting his second deal. That's huge.
Yeah, he absolutely is a weapon. He's got size, length, and athleticism. I mean, we joke about the Spider-Man thing, but that puts his athleticism on display every time he does a backflip in the end zone. And then not only that, but he can get down in the box and knock your head off. And he can cover, and he can jam at the line of scrimmage. He can cover guys one-on-one. And as Adam said, get this Dennis Allen defense running. Now you have three corners in Jalen Johnson, Tyreek Stevenson, and Kyler Gordon that are now playing to their strengths. And they were already shining in a defense that wasn't necessarily doing that. So then when you look at the Ryan Poles side of things with Cole Kmet, Jalen Johnson, and now Kyler Gordon here, you get contract extensions that at the time are in the top 10. This one's going to be, obviously number one for any slot corner. But 5 years down the road, as the market starts to flip, you'll see that this was a good deal in the moment that they had to get it. And now 5 years from now, you're going to be saying, hey, he got the right price at the right time.
Well, they also, this is a 3-year deal. As whoever just put in the chat, it's an excellent point. He'll be a free agent again in 29. That's good for Kyler, but it's also good for the Bears because he has had a little bit of a ding, a little bit of a missed game here and there. He is a smaller player. Is he built for the long haul? Well, maybe he is, but the Bears didn't make that bet. They bet on the next 3 years. So they get price certainty for the next 3 with one of the top slot corners. You're not, overly committed, I wouldn't say. And of course, 3 years from now, that's Caleb time and all the things. So I think there's some good flexibility in here for the Bears. You didn't exactly, knock yourself into a corner.
Yeah. A little history on the slot corner market, why it's kind of reaching new levels. You had Michael Carter II making about 10 and a quarter per year. And then Teron Johnson was close to that too. Jordan Lewis then signed a 3-year, $30 million contract with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And then there was like an interesting one with Nate Hobbs because he had primarily played in the slot, but signed in with the Packers at 4 years, $48 million. But he's supposedly going to be playing more outside for the Green Bay Packers. So that kind of confused the market a little bit. And then you got Jalen Petrie signing his contract the other day. So you can just sort of see how these contracts just start to, it's like any other position. They just start to stack up on top of each other. But the bottom line is that Kyler Gordon seemed to be the next guy in line to set at the top of the slot corner market. And the Bears obviously agreed. So they went with it.
And look, guys who give their heart and soul to this football team, they like to see dudes get rewarded in the locker room. This has got to resonate well. Guys are going to be happy that Kyler's around. Hey, Jalen got paid. Cole got paid. Now Kyler's getting paid.
Yep. I'm
sure Rome Odunze's thinking that's going to be him someday. Let's just fast forward it ahead here.
And not even Rome. I think the two people that I immediately think of in this moment, Gervon Dexter, who was drafted right alongside, Kyler Kyler Gordon and Tyreek Stevenson, two guys
there. Brisker.
Brisker. That's right. But regardless, I'm thinking about those guys coming up here in the future and thinking to myself, like, hey, this proves that if you do your job, if you live up to your expectations and the standard that the team sets for you, that the team is going to take care of you. So, obviously Brisker, has some health stuff to go through, or else I think most Bears fans would want to extend him. But looking at Gervon Dexter, looking at Tyreek Stevenson, I know people are ready to write him off, but I think he fits really well in this Dennis Allen defense. And if these guys have good years here coming up, they'll be next in line for contract extension.
I'd give Tyreek a shot at the 3-year name. The other two I would not bet on.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk more about that coming up. And I also want to talk about what this means for Ryan Poles. But first, just like your favorite team needs a home field advantage, your home needs a home floor advantage. And Empire Today can help you get exactly that, because Empire Today has flooring experts, dedicated flooring professionals who focus on flooring every single day. You've been to those big box stores and you wanted all those aisles, and somehow you're hauling all these materials home. Then you got to find somebody to install it all, trying to coordinate everything yourself. Well, this is why you got to go to Empire Today, because they'll handle all of that for you. Empire Today lives and breathes flooring, and they will be with you every step of the way. It's a whole different ball game. You'll pick the right flooring and the right colors for your space. You can see how it looks with your furniture in your house, because their flooring experts bring the showroom right to your home. Schedule a free in-home estimate today, because some things are just better at home. CHGO listeners can receive a $350 discount when using promo code CHGO. Yes, you heard that right. A $350 discount with code CHGO. Restrictions apply. Visit EmpireToday.com/CHGO for full details.
Shout out to the 424 Strong watching us live here. Hit that like button for Kyler Gordon. Hit the like button for you being so on top of your Bears news on a Sunday night after, I think there was like a golf tournament today that Hoge was all into. Hey, shout out to our friends at Sam Adams American Light. Light beer just got better. It's clean, it's crisp, it's super easy to drink. No gimmicks, no fluff, just the good stuff here. Light beer made right, doesn't taste like a light beer. There is no compromise when you're drinking this American classic. So smooth. You're going to want to crack open another one. You're going to want to crack open one right now. Hello, can I get a Sam Adams American Light? Light beer just got better. Grab some Sam Adams American Light. Available now at select Chicago retailers. You do have to be 21. Please drink responsibly.
All right. So, Carm, you mentioned this close to the top, and I do think it's worth bringing up because it is it's definitely a win for Ryan Poles. This was your first draft pick. You get to extend your first draft pick to a second contract, and that means something. And I think you also look at, whatever happens with Jaquan Brisker, that's not going to be viewed as a bad pick by any means either. He would certainly be in line for an extension too, based on his play, if he could just stay healthier. So no questions about that. And so I do think that's a win. And then his first round pick would have been Darnell Wright, right? And that one's he certainly seems like he's on the path to earning a second contract. Obviously the third year will be big there. But you do get to say that. And I do think that counts for something, because, hey, there was a world where 4 or 5 months ago, we were wondering if Ryan Poles would even still be here. And, I think deep down, he probably wondered that a couple times too, right? So to be able to now sit here and say you got Ben Johnson as your head coach, you're starting to extend your own draft picks. That's got to make it, at least make Ryan Poles feel pretty good right now.
Well, let's go through it. Okay, Ryan Poles gets a hard time for Torrey Taylor, Velus Jones, different players of that ilk. But in those first 3 rounds, who are the ones that he's missed on? Zach Pickens? I understand some guys still have to prove themselves. I'm certainly not calling every single player a star by any means, but you have to have a higher hit rate in those first 3 rounds. And looking through it, help me out here, guys. Zach Pickens, who else am I missing here from a standpoint that didn't live up to a certain expectation?
Look, let's not go too crazy here on his success rate, because first of all, you need Pro Bowl players, and the Bears don't have any other than Jalen Johnson, who he did not draft. So he extended him, which was a good do. But we're not talking about you need impact players to win Super Bowls, and the Bears are still looking for those. So let's not go crazy. Jaquan Brisker, it's not a terrible pick, but you'd rather have George Pickens. That period, end of story. And they needed a wide receiver. You'd rather, and I don't want to, make this a whole show on looking at what Ryan Poles has done, but we can all talk about the Chase Claypools and everything else, and the Velus Joneses, and he's had plenty of misses. The Kyler thing, though, to me, about why it just resonated as a win. Like, look, it's his first pick, and he's got a new coaching staff. What do you think of these guys? The cut that we just said, and they both stamped him. So, okay, great. Guy that I drafted, you like him, I like him, get to pay him. That's a win right there. No two ways about it.
Yeah, I think it's somewhat simple. Just kind of look at it as high draft picks. So let's just say the first 3 rounds that you are able to give a second contract to, or are no-brainers to get one in the future. So I'm kind of with both of you guys on this one, because
I agree.
This is a win. It doesn't mean that there's been a ton of wins, because I don't know what's going to happen with Jaquan Brisker. Velus Jones is obviously elsewhere. But Braxton Jones was his 4th pick ever, and that was a 5th round pick. And I'm sorry, even if he doesn't get a second contract, that was really good scouting and a win for a guy that started a ton of football games for you at left tackle. You go to year 2, Darnell Wright, like I said, on his way. Gervon Dexter, now that's still a question mark, because I think that depends on what his role is in this defense and how he performs here in year 3. Same thing with Tyreek Stevenson. He's got to have a big year 3. Zach Pickens has been a complete bust to this point, it sure looks like. Then you start going down the line, the Roshan Johnson and Tyler Scott, Noah Sewell. So right now it's trending towards 1 automatic, and you're hoping for a second one out of that second class that's getting a second contract with the Chicago Bears. And then it's probably too early to even start talking about last year's class with Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze. And I don't know why you put Torrey Taylor in the same sentence as Velus Jones. I think that was insulting to punters across the world everywhere.
Well, to be honest, I couldn't remember if Velus was a 4th or 3rd rounder. He was 3rd. So that really fell more in line of those first 3 round guys. And you're right, Carm, to your point, they did trade for Chase Claypool, 2nd round pick. They traded for Montez Sweat, a 2nd round pick as well. And so, I just think the body of work there, Caleb, Rome, that's not hard to pick those kind of players at those spots, but still, this year, top 10 pick's going to be a little trickier, right? Depending on how the draft falls. So we'll have to see here in 10 days or so, whatever that is. But regardless, I still have higher hopes. I'm not like pushing all my chips in on Tyreek Stevenson and Gervon Dexter, but I just think with a healthy environment around them and a more aggressive play caller who doesn't call plays on his heels, it's 3rd and 16, and we're asking our DBs to back up, and we're not attacking the quarterback. This is going to be a totally different defense this year. And the idea is, if they can generate a little bit of a pass rush, you bring in Grady Jarrett, you bring in Dio Odangbo, and now all of a sudden there's a trickle-down effect for both guys like Gervon Dexter and Tyreek Stevenson, and obviously Kyler Gordon being a beneficiary as well. Ultimately, the biggest thing that comes down to for all these guys and a guy like Kyler Gordon is staying healthy, because he's had injuries the last few years as well. But when he's healthy, and that goes to say for anybody in the NFL, but he's a really, really talented player. He just has to stay on the field.
Yeah.
Let's take a look. Let's take a look at Kyler's stats here, and then I got one more question for you guys before we close out this mini emergency pod. But you just see where he's been at so far. This was just 2024, but in a pretty good season. Solo tackles, whatever. I don't know how important that actually is. But 30, he ranked 30th there. Assists, 4th. Is that just assisted tackles? Is that what that means?
Yes.
Okay. Pass rush snaps, 48, which ranked 3rd. So obviously the Bears used him a lot on that. And then he got pressured, got tons of pressures. So out of that slot cornerback spot, 9 pressures. That's a good amount for the season. Only gave up 1 touchdown. So kind of gives you the Swiss Army knife view of how Kyler Gordon can be used on defense and why he's so valuable.
Well,
yes, Carm.
Well, I also want to throw in there, as far as the eye test goes, watching him play football, forget about the stats. The dude's fun. He's creative. He's slicing into the backfield. He's making plays left side, right side, deep down the field. I'm excited about this mainly because I like watching Kyler Gordon play, and I think the contract's super reasonable. So, and you look at going on the missed games just real fast. He missed 3 his first year, 4 his second year, and 2 last year. So he's been dinged up every single year, but they haven't been super serious injuries, just soft tissue stuff where it's kept him out for a couple of weeks here and there.
So would you rather have been Kyler Gordon today getting this massive extension or Rory McIlroy?
Hey, give it up to Rory, man. I mean, he blew it twice. He was up, he's 13 under at one point. Then he blew it once. Then final putt to win the Masters on the 18th hole, biffs it. I would have made that putt. I know that. And, but credit to him because he didn't blink when they got to the playoff. And so that was fun to watch. Carm, you said it's not fun to watch golf. So we need an update because we know you're Mr. Sports. So we know you tuned in for this. Is golf fun to watch?
So listen, shout out to the old Midtown Athletic Club. I was in the pool outdoors yesterday and today. And then I got home today and I was checking the scores. And I saw the Golden State and the Clippers were in a tie game going to the fourth quarter. And I was like, that's huge for seeding. I want Golden State to be the 6. But then I was like, oh, what's going on in the Masters? And so I flipped to it, and it's a tie ball game. Is that how they say that in golf? I don't think it is, but close enough. And so I said to Jackie and her kids, I was like, I got to go up and watch golf. And I dialed in on it. I very, very much enjoyed tweeting out, I'm watching Golf Hoge and all the drama of it. Shout out to Rory, because Lord knows I've choked a zillion times in my life. I don't know if that was, I think that was a choke. I don't know. You guys are the golf experts. But to come back and get it done the way he did, that was fantastic. So I was very entertained. That was awesome. Great drama. So it was a great 20 minutes of watching sports. Shout out to you, Hoge, and you too, Gregory, Mr. Golf yourself.
Well, hey, the Cubs are at the end of the 7th inning. They're up 3-2. The Sox won a series this weekend. The Blackhawks, Hoge, it feels like they're fun to watch here the last few weeks all of a sudden. And now the Bears, once again, 3-time offseason champions. We are dominating. Normally we win the offseason after the draft. We haven't even gotten to the draft and we've already won the offseason. I mean, they won the offseason in January when they hired Ben Johnson. So this has been a dominant, three-peat performance by the Chicago Bears, and I'm proud of them, and I'm excited for this to actually translate to the regular season.
Well, that would I'm not sure if that's more likely or less likely than Rory making that putt on 18, which I think we all knew he was going to miss, and it's not good when my 10-year-old son goes, I could have made that, and I was like, actually, you could have. Yeah, that's true. But he got it together on the playoff hole at 1. And it's, shout out to whoever leaked the Kyler news to at least waiting until Rory got done at Butler Cabin. The tears in my eyes were not dry yet, though. And I might have thrown my phone across the room when I saw the Kyler Gordon news come in. Can't you just let Rory have his moment for 2 seconds? But I get it. We're happy for Kyler Gordon, too. Big contract for him. None of that golf stuff has to do with him. Big day for him. Certainly deserved. 3 years, $40 million, and he's locked up long-term with Dennis Allen and this Bears defense. Before we get out of here, I know we have a couple super chats from our guy, Bearlissimo, across the pond. Just says, congrats on Big Bag Kyler. Now earn it. Isn't it funny how quickly you get paid? Now you got to go. Now you got to play better.
I got to tell you, the dude spends a lot of money on his ink. The whole left leg that he did, that looked super painful. He's, not just tough on the football field, tough off the field, tough in the tattoo parlor. So it's good that he's got the big bag because, it ain't cheap whatever he's doing to himself over there.
And another one for Bearlissimo, 5 pounds sterling. Kyler Gordon means DA doesn't have to walk up a safety for a physical near edge line of scrimmage presence. Absolutely. Most lines wouldn't ID him as an extra in the box.
Interesting.
Don't look so confused, Carm.
DA, Dio Odangbo?
No, Dennis Allen.
Okay,
Dennis
first of all,
Allen.
those aren't even Dio's initials. Second, Dennis Allen. They all call him DA.
I got it. All right. That's my first DA for Dennis Allen.
But, I mean,
I'm there now. I get it. I hear what you're saying now.
Well, as the graphic said, 9 pressures, right? And Eberflus started to institute this thing where he was really sending, corners off the edge, and Kyler Gordon's one of the best to be able to do it. Like you said, Carm knifes through there, and he's got that length where if you try to get around him, it's not as easy maybe as some other DBs. So it'll be fun. It's going to be fun to see what Dennis Allen does with all these corners, but specifically Kyler Gordon, and how much he's going to send them to the quarterback and try to get him home. And I think with everything they got going on, I think he has a good chance of being successful.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us on this Sunday night. Good to get out a quick pod for you, though, on the reaction to Kyler Gordon getting a big extension, big piece of the Bears defense. We will be back tomorrow. Of course, it's Monday. We'll be back at noon. Big show on the way, big week on your way as we continue to work our way to the draft, and Carm continues to not let me close a show. Changed his mind.
Okay, fine. I got one snippet. The picked off basketball team that I played on for 40 years, they won their 6th title today. And unlike Jerry Krause, he won't be taking down the team. Coach Hendo, Kenny Hendrickson, bringing him back for a run at title number 7. Shout out picked off. Thank you, Hoge.
You're welcome. That definitely could have been saved for tomorrow, but we'll accept it. Good night to Spider-Man. Good night to Carm. Good night to Bears fans everywhere. We'll talk to you tomorrow at noon on the CHGO Bears Podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.